Welcome back to another episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Yes, welcome back to episode 212 of the Purple Rain Podcast, the Tony Banks episode, the Vinny Testaverde episode, the old Rashad Bateman episode, Anthony Brown. I can go on Jacoby Jones, of course, of the Purple Rain Podcast. Thank you all for coming through to this live episode. There was no game this weekend. There was no Ravens football this weekend. Very stress-free, but a lot of games went our way. Low-key is like a victory Monday as a Ravens fan. We're getting healthier. Yeah. The teams we wanted to lose lost. Nothing really to complain about. But, if you are new here, make sure you drop a like button. And if you want to help us support, you can consider subscribing. We would much appreciate that. But you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter, at SunDef. And you follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. I saw a commercial. I'm not going to take the credit for this, but deck the balls, all right, with Manscaped. It was a little slogan for the holidays. Yeah. They are so off the top with it. But, if you want to go in there and get a nice Christmas gift, we are 3 weeks away from that. So, crazy to think about, aka 3 weeks away from Ravens versus Niners. We'll talk about that as well, the 49ers and the Eagles. But go in there, use code PRP for 20% off your whole order and free international shipping. Sutton, first and foremost, how was your weekend?
Weekend was really good. I mean, you bring up a fabulous point. It was kind of like a victory Monday. Well, today was kind of like a victory Monday for Ravens fans. A couple of games bounced our way yesterday. We'll go ahead and get into that. But overall, I'm feeling good. The Ravens are sitting at 9-3, number 2 in the AFC. Would have been number 1 if we would have played a game this week and, obviously won it. But we didn't play. The Dolphins got a win. So they are the number 1 seed in the AFC. But we got a chance to get, at the Dolphins, which really excites me. We get a chance to get at the Dolphins, the Jaguars, and the 49ers. Some Ravens fans might feel scared, right? They might feel, some hesitancy going into these next couple of games, especially after the Rams, but not me. I have all the faith and all the confidence in the world that this team can beat any other of the 31 teams in this league. That's just me. Maybe I got the purple shades on, but I think you can ask a lot of people that watch football right now, ask them about the Ravens. The Ravens are dangerous, man. The Ravens are capable of beating any team in this league on any given day. I will say that. So, in short, I'm feeling great, Alex. I hope the Rain Gang is feeling great as well over this weekend. Now, listen. Again, go on manscaped.com, deck the balls. I love that slogan. You can go on manscaped.com, get anything you want, literally anything you want. You can stack your cart sky high and use that code PRP. You're going to save yourself 20% off. Like Alex said, that's our gift from us to you for this holiday season. Christmas only 3 weeks away, so you got to get your orders in now. Okay, it may be free shipping, but you guys know how the shipping works around the holidays. Sometimes things take a little bit longer than others, so make sure you get on that. Okay. But, like we said, obviously no Ravens game this past weekend, so we don't have any review slides to look at in terms of, what happened with the Ravens game. But a couple of games of interest, right? Oh, yeah. I have a couple in mind. I know you do as well. I'll let you start, Alex. Like, when you watched football yesterday, which game hopped off the television set to you the most?
Come on. You know which one it is. We both know what it is. It's the Niners and the Eagles. Oh my gosh. I was a grade A hater yesterday. I was wearing the red. I was a Niners fan through and through. Big cock Brock Purdy. Thank you very much. Shutting down Mr. Perfect and Jalen Hurts. That made me so happy. I love Jalen Hurts, by the way. Just the Eagles needed that humbling. Only bad thing is, though, I think it's going to piss them off, and they're probably going to end up winning the NFC. But yesterday, it was fun to watch that game. Deebo Samuel, he stood on business. Thank you very much to DK Metcalf for teaching me how to say that in sign language. I really appreciate you. But yeah, that was a hell of a game yesterday. The Niners.
Wait, do that again? I didn't catch that. Oh,
That was a celebration on Thursday night. By the way, that was a great Thursday night game. That was
yeah.
amazing. Their uniforms were out, but yeah, he did that. That was a celebration. The sign language. I've been doing it ever since now. Come on now. Wait, no.
Okay.
There you go.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like
But
that a lot.
oh, it's amazing. But yeah, I mean, yesterday 425, Burkhardt and Olsen. It was a game we talked about. I thought it was gonna be a lot closer and a much better game, but Deebo Samuel, he backed it up. Trent Williams backed it up. That defense played lights out.
Yeah.
Fred Warner, why he's one of the best linebackers in the league, and just that line is so nasty. I'm nervous to play the Niners. Chase Young, Randy Gregory, Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, they are stacked up front.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the 49ers, they very well might be the most complete team in the NFL as it stands today. But, I mean, really what happened yesterday was their stars showed up. They showed up and they showed out. I mean, Trent Williams, of course, he's not going to be all over any sort of stat sheet or anything like that for obvious reasons, but he was shutting down that left side. They were running to him the entire game whenever they wanted to. Christian McCaffrey, 17 carries for 93 yards. Deebo Samuel, 4 catches for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. All their top performers came out to shine. George Kittle, 4 catches for 68 yards. Can't ask for much more from him. Ayuk, 5 catches for 46 yards. And then just kind of rounding it all out, just bringing it back up to the top, Brock Purdy. And I want to get your take on one Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, because the opinions on him have been kind of up and down all over the place all season, coming from everybody, right? Like, is he a game manager? Is he the next Brady? Is he this? Is he that? I want to get your fair and honest assessment. After watching that game yesterday, where does Brock Purdy land on the QB hierarchy? Is he top 7?
Okay. No.
No.
I can go top 10 maybe. The thing with Brock Purdy is he's not going to win you a game. He's not going to lose you a game. I don't think he threw a pass over 15 yards yesterday. And I can't sit here and say, like, I can't, tout him. I am a Brock Purdy fan. When I was making fun of Ben Roethlisberger in 2020, when he wasn't throwing the ball far at all, but they were winning games eventually. But with the Niners, it's different because they have, we're comparing Deebo, Ayuk, McCaffrey to who they have in 2020. Claypool, Juju, and whoever the running back was at the time. Was it James Conner, I think? So I'll go top 10 to top 12. But yeah, I mean, he's winning games. I want to see him battle back from being down. I know we're Ravens fans, so I'm going to bring it back to the Ravens. They always talk about when the Ravens are up, can Lamar bounce back from losing? Kind of want to see the same thing with the Niners and Brock Purdy. Let's say they go down 2-3 scores. Is he going to air that ball out? Or are they going to do 5-yard, 10-yard passes and just hope some action's going on? That's my fair and honest assessment. I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, I mean, I can get behind that. And Brock Purdy, I don't want to take anything away from his performances as of late. Yesterday, of course, like I said, 314 yards passing, 19 for 27 is very efficient. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So a clean game. I respect that. I respect the hell out of that. But let me ask you something, Alex. And I think this might put things into perspective for everybody listening right now. So if you're listening, listen up, because I want you guys to respond to this too. Were you more impressed yesterday by Brock Purdy or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love.
Okay. And Jordan Love had lesser stats than a Brock Purdy did. So you kind of got to put things into context, because you look at what Brock Purdy did. I mean, had a great performance. Again, I don't want to take anything away from it, but we have to look at the facts. Deebo Samuel, 4 catches for 116. That man was playing like a man on a mission, and we knew he was going into that game. We knew how he felt, Deebo Samuel, that is. We know how he felt about the Eagles, especially following that NFC Championship game from last year. Brock Purdy gets knocked out of the game. That was like the 3rd or 4th hurt QB. They didn't have a quarterback for half of the championship game, right? Since like second quarter. So obviously that frustrated the 49ers, frustrated Deebo. So they had this one circled on their calendar ever since the schedule was released back in August or no. July? June?
July. You're right.
Okay,
it's summertime.
Yeah. Summertime. They've had this one circled ever since then. So Deebo was kind of playing with like a man with his hair on fire, and that kind of padded Brock Purdy's stats a lot. Again, not taking anything away from Brock Purdy, but Jordan Love, I mean, when I saw what he did yesterday, some of those throws he were making, elite.
Mm,
We're talking about 9 touchdowns to 0 interceptions in the past 3 games for Jordan Love. Impressive as hell. Playing on a much worse team. I mean, you could
crazy.
argue, you don't even have to argue. I mean, the 49ers are a much more well-constructed team than the Green Bay
Hmm.
Packers, you know?
Hmm.
So, hey, man, I think that puts things in perspective. I want to know what you guys are thinking here. Gilbert Melton says Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And watching that last
Yeah,
night too, Christian Watson finally showed out. Like that's
mhm.
why he was a second round pick, a borderline first round pick. But one thing I saw from Jordan Love yesterday was it was that deep throw. I think it was a fourth down or a third and short when he just threw a beautiful ball to Romeo Dobbs.
Mm,
Like Jordan Love has shown me something this year. And I think what impressed me more was how good the Chiefs defense has been this year. And he didn't let the occasion get to him.
nope.
Sunday night, compared to the Eagles, where I know that their defense has been low key Swiss cheese this year, Ike was routing up Slay, routing him up big time. And Debo was just running all over him. Compared to the Chiefs defense,
Yeah,
like they were up there with us in defensive stats. What he did, and just with his supporting cast, Musgrave was out. He was throwing to, I think, a late rounder undrafted tight end, got him his first career touchdown. Then
yeah,
Watson, he had a great game. Then he goes down with hamstring. So he has Dobbs and who else? Like the average NFL fan cannot name who else he was thrown to outside of Dobbs and Christian Watson. That's what had me very impressed. Uh, it was snowing. I don't know if it was snowing toward the end of the game, but it was snowing there. Just Jordan Love is shutting a lot of doubters up, and I'm really happy for him because he deserves this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been kind of a long time coming too. Of course, he gets drafted. What was it? 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, he gets drafted pretty much out of the blue, much to Aaron Rodgers' chagrin, and also led to him getting up out of Green Bay as well. But there's been talk over the last 3 years, like, is Jordan Love the guy? Are they going to have to go back and draft another quarterback? Are they going to try to trade for quarter? Things like that. And now they're finally getting some clarity on who this kid is, and they're being enlightened on the fact that he can be their franchise quarterback, which is good, which is good. But I only brought up
Yeah.
Jordan Love to compare him to Brock Purdy in that context. Again, not taking anything away from Brock Purdy, but he does strike me as a little bit more of a game manager, which is why I agree with you, Alex. I want to see them face some adversity. I want to see them come back from down 2 possessions and it be Brock Purdy who puts the team on his back. He's making the throws. It's not like a 10-yard slant to Debo and Debo takes it the rest of the way because he's just Debo. But again, the 49ers are really, really good. So that was one game. The 49ers just trouncing the Eagles. And the Eagles, you kind of had to see this one coming too. It was in the cards. I mean, I picked the Eagles, so I obviously I did not see it coming. You picked the Niners in this one, so you were right. But the Eagles are just coming off of really tough games against the Chiefs and the Bills
Mm-hmm.
back to back. So to go to, play the 49ers, even though they were at home, that was a tough out. That's a very, very tough ask
Yeah.
for a team to beat 2 of the best teams in the league and then take on arguably the best team on the league and expect them to win that one. Yeah. 42-19. They'll probably see each other again in the playoffs, which I think will be a lot closer game, to be honest with you,
I hope
regardless
so.
of who's playing quarterback. Hope so for sure, right? But other games that we can touch on from yesterday, some that directly benefited us, of course, that Chiefs Packers game,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the Chiefs
Mm-hmm.
are what, 8-4 now, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chiefs,
And
which is weird to say. Damn.
Father Time is hitting Travis Kelsey. I'm just gonna say that
Mm,
right now. I don't care if Miss Swift was in the crowd. I don't care if she was or if she wasn't. He has
yeah.
taken a step back. He'll turn it up in the playoffs, but I'm gonna say it again. I want to see Kyle Hamilton again. Kyle Hamilton against Travis Kelsey in the playoffs. I need that in my life.
Yeah.
I would love to see that matchup from a neutral standpoint and from a Ravens standpoint. Like that would show me how good number 14 is for the Ravens. But for the Chiefs, though, I don't care about if they missed this call, if they missed that call, because they got handed, I think, a 15-yard penalty for the unnecessary roughness. Although you need to know there are certain quarterbacks you can and you cannot hit. And you cannot hit Patrick Mahomes
Mm.
like that. It happened with Brady, and it's happening with Mahomes. I don't care how close it is, you cannot do that because they will call it every single time.
Now, what other quarterbacks get that same benefit of the doubt?
right now.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot.
I don't think any, to be honest.
Brady's gone.
Brady's
And you
gone.
look at Hurts. Hurts gets hit.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Justin Herbert. He took a hit from us last week. Didn't get called.
Josh Allen just flops. Somebody
Yeah.
made a compilation of Josh Allen flopping. That's how bad his got. I think that's why he won't get calls.
Hey, yeah, that's another good reason. Now, it's just what really sucks is just the inconsistency because like it's frustrating when you can point back to, oh, this game that didn't get called or this game it did get called. You know, it's frustrating knowing that that is not going to change, at least not anytime soon. Is very well possible that, you know, a couple months from now or shit next month is January. Playoffs start next month, which is crazy to think about. I can't even. It's hard for me to even conceptualize that, to be honest with you right now. So it feels like the season just started. But yeah, man, I can't. I think I lost my train of thought. But basically, what I was saying was, it's going to be very, very frustrating come playoff time if, you know, we're seeing these calls still not be made or only being made in certain spots or only for certain quarterbacks, because these things impact the integrity of the game as a whole. We've seen it, you know, and I do kind of want to touch on the other would be pass interference, should have been pass interference last night, the deep ball to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I know, you know, all of you guys know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah.
Guy was basically on his back, you know, giving him a piggyback ride before he even gets there. Now, would MVS have actually caught that ball? I don't know. I don't honestly think so, to be honest with you, but that's besides the point. There was a foul on the play. It should have been called. And I don't know. It always amazes me how the NFL is, you know, worth billions and billions of dollars, right? And there are millions of people who watch their product, invest into their product year in and year out, and they still cannot get simple calls correct. Like we can literally watch it on live national television, and the announcers, the commentators that the literal National Football League hires to talk about and commentate the game, they're sitting there telling you that's a flag, that is egregious, that should not be this way, that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. You know, like if it's obvious that there's a blown call, let's just say, oh wait, let's rewind for a little bit. Let's put a little pause on things. Let's get this right, and now let's move forward. How hard is that? Like seriously.
We're speaking from experience right now because that Colts game is right in my head right now, and you know what call I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Don makes a great point. Like Harbaugh not challenging a blatant first down.
Yeah.
And there was no communication because I think Todd Monken said the play he called for was a first down play. He thought we got the first down. He didn't know it was third down. So
yeah, just moving forward with the incorrect call, with a clear incorrect call, it hurts the integrity of the sport. Now, I'm going to keep watching, of course, regardless. I mean, I love football. I love the NFL, to be honest with you. So maybe that's why they won't change it, because they know we're still going to watch anyway. But I mean, and you know what? Now that kind of it kind of piques my interest now that I'm thinking about it, because there's like there's a theory that goes around. I'm not sure if you've ever heard the theory of you know, marketing by sparking outrage. You know, you can it's a thing. Like as a company, you know what draws an audience, which is conflict. You know, things going wrong, that sort of thing. So the NFL knows, hey, a blown call here, an egregious no call there. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna get people talking. It's gonna get people talking about the sport. They're gonna be talking about it the next day on the news cycles, things like that. And at the end of the day, the NFL just gets more viewers, more money, more engagement. It's a win-win for them, which is scary, but it does affect the integrity of the game, and that yeah, I don't like that at all.
And it's right here. So I checked the NFL's YouTube channel.
Okay.
Guess what video they uploaded last night after Sunday Night Football?
What?
Chiefs versus Packers. Crazy ending. 189,000 views. So you know people are doing this morning when they wake up, if they did not watch that, go on YouTube, look at the ending of that game, look for all the bad calls. There you go. It's a 20-minute video. You don't know this. The longer you watch the video on YouTube, the more money you get from monetization. Right there. I mean, there's your theory right there. I mean, they're making more money. Just that's from a YouTube. And the talk shows are going to be talking about it. Guarantee you, on NFL Network, they were talking about it. ESPN, Fox Sports, radio shows, all that. Right there.
Yeah. They know it. They know it, man. I mean, the NFL, they've been doing this for years. Their marketing team, yeah, they're on top of the world. They know exactly what to do to pique everyone's interest. Just kind of like the the kid getting fired, the 20-year-old kid who was recording Tyreek Hill, did the backflip. Yep. He sends the clip to the NFL. They post it and everything like that, and then they fire him afterwards. Like it's all a cash grab at the end of the day, to be honest with you. Okay, other games that were a little bit interesting. This one wasn't very interesting at all, but it's worth noting. Chargers beat the Patriots 6-0.
My gosh. Number one, thank you for taking Quentin Johnston. Thank you, Chargers. I am so happy with Zay Flowers. Thank you. That right there is going to be like one of those like the 2019 draft when like the Patriots took what was it? N'Keal Harry. There's all these other good receivers there. They took him. I hope Quentin Johnson turns it around. I really do. But right now it's not looking too good. But that was just a toilet bowl definition. 6-0.
Yeah, and how much of this is an indictment on the Chargers?
A lot.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, at some point, we're making too many excuses for Herbo. I'm sorry. I know it's the coach.
You saw FanDuel posted?
No.
They compared him. They used like the Cavs roster in like 07 or 08 when they made the finals, and they were like Justin Herbert on the Chargers, and like how it was LeBron, and then it was like everybody else.
Oh
he didn't have a Keenan Allen, a Mike Williams. Like his defense doesn't have a Khalil Mack who has 12, 13 sacks. Had a Joey Bosa, Derwin James. They didn't go out there and spend all that money on J.C. Jackson. Like they were trying to put a team together, it just didn't work out. They were up how many points in a playoff game last year, and they blew it. Come on now, let's not sit here and make that excuse. It's not a good one.
Yeah, Chargers, they are not it. And Justin Herbert, he deserves some of the blame as well. There's only but so many excuses I think that we can make for him until we have an honest conversation. Another game I know you watched, or at least paid attention to, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, they beat the New Orleans Saints in a close one. What was the score? 33-28. 33-28. Yeah. Sam Laporta has a crazy game, goes off in that one, man. I mean, Sam Laporta had 9 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown. That was just insane. Probably the best tight end performance all season, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any other tight end performance that tops that one. Now that I'm thinking about it. I know Kelsey had a really good game, like I think it was like week 4, 5, 6, something like that. But nothing like this. 140 yards, 9 catches, and a touchdown. That is just unreal numbers from a tight end. So really like what the Lions are doing right now. What's their record now? Lions are what, 9-3?
9-3. My only problem is they went up 21-0 first 3 drives, and it kind of fell apart. They really didn't do much. They were letting the Saints come back. Derek Carr, who is now hurt, Jameis came in, and then of course Jameis, like he throws, it's an interception right there.
Magic.
This guy's about to pick him off right here, and then Brian Branch tips it. Olave catches it. I'm like, all right, like this is what's about to happen to the Lions. I'm watching on Fox, but thankfully they won still. But the Lions definitely have some Swiss cheese holes. I don't think they're gonna make the Super Bowl. At best, I think they'll win a playoff game, just because they'll have the home. I think they'll win the NFC North. But they have some more improvements to make, because if that's a playoff team, I think they lose that game. And if there's more fans there. So respect the Lions, though, 9-3. But remember that one loss to the Ravens, 38-6. Thank you very much. Looking better and better every week, by the way.
Yeah. Moving on, the Cardinals beat the Steelers 24-10 in a very long, drawn-out game on Sunday. Started at 1 p.m. I don't think it ended until maybe 6 or something like that. It was bad. They had to delay the game twice due to weather concerns. But just talking about the game itself, man, the Steelers, Steelers fans are in shambles right now, and they're 7-5, so it's not like the season is a wash, anything like that. They're 7-5, but like Boz says here, ruined his whole effing day. Yeah, I know a bunch of Steelers fans who are feeling the exact same way. Now, a lot of Steelers fans that I talk to are putting the blame on Mike Tomlin. They're saying, "Oh, it might be time for Tomlin to go. Maybe this relationship has ran its course. Maybe he needs to go somewhere else like Andy Reid and just find something new to work with. It's just gotten stale in Pittsburgh." That's kind of the consensus that I'm getting out of Pittsburgh. I would love to know what you feel like, Boz, down in the chat. But what did you
Yeah.
take away from this game, Alex?
Well, personally, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the quarterback. I think it's a running back they spent a first round pick on who can't score from the 1 yard line, who is known to be a power rusher. I think it is their GM for trading away, I believe it was Dotson of the Rams, who is one of the Rams' best linemen right now. It's
Yeah.
stupid stuff like that. And the worst part is I still think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. They probably will. They probably will. They don't have a
Like,
terribly hard schedule coming up either.
no. And my thing is, if they lose on Thursday to the Patriots, then there's a problem. I think Trubisky can do enough to beat them. Like, I'm like, okay, he's a backup, but this guy was what, number 3, number 4 overall pick. He made the playoffs with Matt Nagy and the Bears, was a double doink away from beating the Eagles in that playoffs.
Yeah.
But I look at it's like, number one, Deontay Johnson should not put on the Steeler uniform ever again. Him celebrating and dancing when they're down like that to a 2-10 team, bro, you're going out like Juju. That is not the way you want to go out there. And then Pickett's just injury prone. I'm going to call it what it is. The Najee experiment has to end. There's just a lot of things. Minka, I mean, respect to Minka for playing with a broken hand. Number one, I have nothing but respect for him there. TJ Watt on the sideline, looked like he was hurt. Just a lot of things going wrong. And the Cardinals, I think they're not a 2-10 team by talent, but that's a game the Steelers I thought should have won. They just,
Yeah, and then, also to mention, Tandra Bowman brings up here, how about James Conner made that a statement game? He definitely took over. Yeah, I mean, 25 carries. Guy had 25 carries for 105 yards, 4 yards a carry. He had 2 touchdowns as well. Great game for James Conner. Of course, he had the lion's share of the volume there on offense, which always helps. But, man, I mean, Pittsburgh to see Pittsburgh get broken like that. Because when do you ever see a running back rush 25 times against the Steelers and then for 105 yards, 2 touchdowns as well? I mean, that just doesn't happen.
no.
That just does not happen all that much. So that is indicative of a broken Steelers team that we saw out there yesterday. And I know that it just had to be so demoralizing in that locker room. It's raining, it's storming outside. They hold the weather delay after halftime for like a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Then they come back out. Then they have to go back in again.
Yeah.
It was just bad. And they were losing the whole time. Throughout. This could not have been good for morale at all. They lost their starting quarterback. Don't know what's up with him or when he'll be back. But yeah, man, things don't look too good in Pittsburgh right now. It kind of seems like, I mean, because they've been winning kind of ugly all season,
Yeah.
They're like the Eagles without the talent. The Eagles were winning ugly for a lot of the season, but they were making it work.
Yeah.
But they also have a lot of talent. They have a great quarterback, receivers, running backs as well. And, the defense is kind of up and down.
Line.
But offensive line, right. Defensive line in large part. Linebackers are definitely shaky. They're decimated with injuries there, or I-words. I know they just signed Shaquille Leonard, no? He agreed to terms with
Yeah,
them?
that's they get him on 1-year deals and they're going to ship him out.
Yeah.
I think they should never let CJ Gardner-Johnson walk, number one. They should have kept him.
Yeah.
He brought a lot of attitude to that defense and kind of showed yesterday. But, I mean, going back to the Steelers,
right?
I don't think they should let Tomlin go. But you bring up a good point with the whole Andy Reid stuff. Like, he was, Tomlin at least won a Super Bowl. Andy Reid didn't win it with the Eagles, but it was getting stale, even though, they were still winning at points. But
yeah,
if Tomlin were to leave, where does he go? That's a good. I don't know where, but he's going to make a team better, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And then Jeremiah here saying Mitchell is a lateral move at quarterback. I guess he's saying going from Kenny Pickett to Mitchell Trubisky is basically having like the same guy. I don't know. Kenny, I feel like he gives you a little bit more upside. Mitchell
Yeah.
Trubisky, he doesn't really and never really owned this offense.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'd have to say that I'd prefer Kenny Pickett. If I'm a Steelers fan, I prefer having Kenny Pickett over Mitchell Trubisky. Not by a country mile or anything like that, but comfortably, I'd have him starting.
I don't want to say this. I don't put it out in the air, but
Okay.
Pick is going to be back week 18, and we're going to somehow lose to him. It's such a Steelers thing to do. That's this.
Yeah.
It's just the same way we lost to Ben Roethlisberger in 2021. They were playing for something, and I mean, so were we. Kind of Tyler Huntley was playing, but we still somehow lost to him. We lost to Ben Roethlisberger with a noodle arm. Multiple times. We got swept by him back-to-back years with noodle arm.
Yeah,
But
and
they did sign Trace McSorley.
they did. I heard about that. Flacco had him a decent game despite the loss yesterday. I just wanted to kind of touch on that really quick.
I don't.
Look, yeah.
I appreciate what Joe did for us, but that is typical Joe Flacco to throw an interception, to heave a deep ball up, no matter how pretty it is, in a crucial drive, and he throws a pick. I don't miss that. 2015, 2016, 2017. We saw that how many times?
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. Another game. I want to get to one more game before we get into the rest of the Ravens schedule, because I want to run through our schedule for the remainder of the season. Dolphins go to Washington to take on the Commanders, and the Dolphins win the game 45-15. This one was never close, never a competition. And what happened was exactly what we expected to happen. Those weapons that they have in Miami, so Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, those guys, they went off. Specifically Tyreek Hill, man. I mean, 5 catches for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, did they even have a game plan? Is what I was wondering watching that game yesterday. Like, you have to know that this guy, of course, fastest receiver in the league, one of the most talented receivers in the league. He can get behind the defense better than maybe any other wide receiver in the league. Keep him in front of you. I don't understand like what is so difficult about that. I mean, guys are getting caught sleeping on double moves from Tyreek Hill. Keep Tyreek Hill underneath you. Do not let him. Hell, even sometimes when he catches it underneath, he can still run around the defense. But I'll take that rather than him just catching a deep ball just wide open and then just walks in for the touchdown. That's just me. As a closet Commanders fan, kind of like a default Commanders fan, since my dad was a Commanders fan or Redskins fan back then. It hurts. It hurts seeing this team struggle this badly, and Ron Rivera, he's going to be the one who gets the boot as soon as the season wraps up. I mean, that's kind of like a foregone conclusion at this point, general consensus. So hopefully they can, I don't know if they're going to promote Eric Bieniemy, if they're going to bring in somebody from the outside, but they need a culture change, I think, in Washington. They also need a couple of more pieces as well to make them a more viable or more competitive team. I like Sam Howell. I think he's the answer at quarterback for them. I think they need to put pieces around him. They need to put a much better coach with him as well. I think they need a younger coach, and they need to just build from the ground up. I mean, they already kind of started doing it, new ownership, new name, things like that. Ron Rivera's got to go. He's clearly not working. He's been in the past couple seasons. We've seen nothing, right? So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that game. But what did you think watching that?
Well, number one, I'm going to agree with Dre. I think Tyreek deserves MVP votes. I think he should be in the conversation. I know it's a quarterback award, but we're talking about most valuable player. I mean, he's going to hit 2,000 receiving yards. I 100% think he's going to hit it. Number two, if y'all don't want to use Terry McLaurin, send him down the highway to one winning drive on East Maryland. I will have, yes. Roosh, yes. Terry Raven Knife here. Make that drive up 95. If you are not going to use him, I will happily take him next year if Odell does not. I love Odell. Listen, I've been a fan for a while, but Terry, right? If they're not going to use him, I would happily take him as a Raven. There's no reason why he should have 0 catches, 0 yards. He is your number 1 wide receiver. You got to give it to him. Number 3, I do agree. Sam Howell, I think, is their quarterback. But Ron Rivera, like, cool. He took them to the playoffs again in 2020. Uh, the division was
Mm.
awful that year. That was your Dak, I think, his leg. The Giants weren't good. And the Eagles had Carson Wentz's corpse, and they just didn't trust Jalen Hurts. He's got to go. And I'm once saying I'm going to agree with Roosh again. If Eric Bieniemy was fit to be a head coach, he would be one by now. Um, I hope he gets a chance because I want to see what he can do. But their ownership has a lot of questions to answer. So I'm rooting for the Commanders. I am, but just that yesterday was embarrassing. Very
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah. Very, very much so embarrassing. Okay. Now what I want to do, I kind of want to get into the rest of the Ravens schedule. So you guys can see the title of the video.
Okay.
The Ravens actually have an 88% chance to win the AFC North. So obviously with the Steelers losing yesterday, with the Browns losing yesterday, the Ravens are very much so in control of their own destiny when it comes to the AFC North, which is great. You know, we went out, we win the AFC North. Hell, if we went out, we, depending on what happens in that Miami Dolphins game, we might get the number 1 seed in the AFC. So right now, what I wanted to do is kind of run through the rest of the Ravens schedule, starting with this coming up
Okay.
Sunday, December 10th, and kind of gauge where we think we'll be at after these next 5 games, these final 5 games, right?
Okay.
First of all, the Rams this weekend in Baltimore, 1 p.m. CBS game. Actually, you know what? I think we play on Fox. I think we'll play on Fox this coming up weekend. I want to say, if I'm not
I wouldn't hate
mistaken.
that. I like the Fox scoreboard, by
Yeah,
the way. Small stuff
yeah.
like
We
that.
need to get one back on Fox. We lost the last time we played on Fox, so we need
Yeah.
to get that one back. But Rams at Ravens. I mean, the Rams are a team who playing better football as of late. You know, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua, they're really doing their thing. Kyron Williams is coming on strong. He just came back from being hurt for a while. He's been looking good. How do you think that we stack up with this team, the Rams? Because think about it now. After the Rams, we got the Jaguars, we got the 49ers, and we got the Dolphins, all back to back to back. And oh, yeah, the Steelers after that, too. So, what is it going to take from this team to not overlook the Rams? Because this is a game we need to. I still think
Yeah.
that we can ill afford to drop games at this point in the season because it's just going to make it that much harder for us. Going into week 17, week 18, when mentally we're supposed to be preparing for the playoffs. But if we're mentally fighting for a better spot, that's not gonna bode well for us. I don't think it will. So Rams at Ravens. What are your thoughts on that one? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I just checked. Tyler Higbee is in concussion protocol. He had 2 touchdowns against the Cardinals last week. I went out yesterday. I thought he was going to have a good game. It's definitely they're a good team. I think they are better than their record. What are
Yeah.
they? I still think below 500. Yes. No. They're 6-6. They're 500. I think that they're a 7-5 team. Honestly, I think they should have won a game that they lost. But Harbaugh's teams historically after the bye are good. I think we win this. I think we should win this. Puka is not 100%. Cooper Kupp, to me, still one of the best receivers in the league. But I think Marlon should be back. So we should be able to have him on lock. And then Stafford isn't the Stafford in 2021 that we saw. But he still threw 2 picks in the pick 6 of Chuck Clark.
Yeah.
I think we
do
can win this
remember
game. I think we can win it by maybe 10 points. But I still think we can win this. Just Aaron Donald scares me. Because our line is sus.
Yeah, but it's Aaron Donald, and not really much of anybody else really, really scares me on that defensive line.
Yeah.
But this is gonna come down to running the football and how good we are at, stopping their run and executing ours. Because in recent weeks, it's been kind of tough. Like teams have been kind of locking up the run game just a little bit. I've kind of noticed that. And all season long, we've low key struggled with the run. Teams haven't been necessarily gashing us every Sunday, but we have been struggling with the run at least to some extent. So that's what kind of scares me, man. Kyron Williams coming in town, of course, Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp. I think that they will get theirs at some point. You'll probably see a touchdown or 2 out of between the both of them. I would say, to be honest with you, just being honest. But man, Roosh says here need a heavy dose of Keaton Mitchell. I can agree with this, but we got to mix in Gus Edwards too, man. Of course, I know we will, But a lot of Ravens fans, I feel like, are calling for Keaton Mitchell to have more carries than Gus, like basically take over that RB1 spot. I don't think we're ready for that just yet. I think you give it a couple of more games. You kind of get him more baked into this offense, get him more into the ebb and flow of things. Put him in on some different personnel packages, have him pass protect. Basically, let the defense know that this guy is not only just in the game to run the football, to get the football. Kind of mix it up. But I do want to see some more Keaton Mitchell as well. So I agree with you there, Roosh. But let's not forget about Gus Edwards, man. Let's not forget about Gus.
Yeah, and one thing I'm going to say about what I saw the Niners do yesterday, they brought Elijah Mitchell, his first snap of the game. I think the Eagles thought they were going to give it to him. They ran, I think, Debo in a reverse, kind of caught the whole defense lacking, and Debo takes it for a big gain, or I think for a touchdown. I would like to see the same thing with the Ravens. I like maybe some decoys, and like you say, when Keaton's on the field, the ball is most likely going to be in his hands, whether it's a run or a pass. I would like for us to catch a defense lacking. So that's one thing I'm gonna look at. And yeah, Gus should definitely get his carries, but I just need Ty Monken to feel the game out, to feel when it's the right time. If we're gonna have a running back in the backfield in shotgun, I don't even want that, honestly. I'd rather have Lamar back there on a 4th and 1 than a Gus, Or I'm just not a big fan of even the shotgun on 4th and 1 because you're going back even more. But I just want Ty Monken to be a bit smarter with his play calls and a bit more efficient because I don't know what he's been calling past couple of games. We've been winning, but I want to see some better play calling as we get into the bigger games and then the playoffs eventually. Honeymoon's over. Honeymoon period is over. For sure. No excuses.
Definitely. Yeah. Honeymoon period has been over for a few weeks now, to be honest. Okay, so after the Rams game, hopefully, like we said, we don't overlook them. We have the Jaguars. We're going to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The Jaguars actually play tonight, Monday Night Football, so we'll get a nice little scouting report on them. One area where the Jaguars struggle is run blocking. So hasn't been the easiest for them running the football. I think that we take big advantage of that, and we kind of make them one-dimensional early. I think we win this game. And I think we win this game pretty comfortably, to be honest with you. A lot of people are saying that the Jaguars are, they're tried and true. They're really good this year. I mean, I believe it. They have a decent record, kind of similar to our record, to be honest. But I think that we match up well against those guys. I really, really do. I think our linebackers can get out in space against guys like ETN. I think that, again, our defensive line, our front seven can stop their run game. And if we just put it all on Trevor Lawrence, I mean, I think Jadeveon Clowney is going to have a day. Kyle Van Noy is going to have a day. Odafe always going to be in the backfield. And then that secondary, we should have Marlon Humphrey back by that time. Like you said, he'll be more short up then. So maybe we'll see some coverage sacks. I'm expecting at least 4 to 5 sacks that game, but I think we win that one.
I think we do as well. Maybe I touch something, maybe a 1-score game. But I'll learn a lot more tonight when I watch them. But yeah, I can see us winning that as well.
Yeah, I got us winning that one. And then the next game is against the 49ers on Christmas Day, 8:15, prime time. That is going to be a hell of a day. Christmas Day. We have to go all day around our friends, our family, just with smiles on our face, knowing in the back of our head, tonight it goes down. It goes down at 8:15. This is probably the biggest game of the year, to be honest with you. When you just look at the competition on our schedule, the 49ers, I think, are objectively the best team that we face. But, man, oh, man, I don't even know what to say about that one. That's going to be a barn burner, to say the least. I don't think that we win that one, to be honest. I think we come up just short in that one. I mean, in San Francisco, they know the magnitude of that game, what's at stake, playing against a Ravens team who, beat them in the Super Bowl, could potentially face them in the Super Bowl this coming up year. It's going to be a lot on the line. And Christmas Day, right? Yep. So I think we lose that. I think we drop that one by anywhere between a touchdown to a field goal, something like that. But damn, I hope we win it. If we win that game, we will be on top of the world as Ravens fans. You won't be able to tell us shit going to the Dolphins game the following week.
I'm going to get cooked for this. I want us to lose one of these games. I want us to get a dose of reality. I'm sorry. I don't want us to go into the playoffs with a big, winning streak, and then we kind of forget what losing is like. Sorry,
Yeah.
still scarred from a couple years ago. I still don't want the number 1 seed. I'd rather go 2, 3, or 4. If you're a Super Bowl team, you'll be anybody in your way. We were the 4th seed in 2000, 2012, both of those.
Yeah.
So and historically in the past couple of years, we haven't been the best team at home in the playoffs. We've lost both of our home games. We're a better team on the road, which is still crazy to me to think about.
Yeah.
These are just facts. I'm not trying to sit here and I'm not hoping we lose, but if we do, I'm not going to say, wow, it's the sky's falling down. I do think we lose this game, but it'll be a good reality check, and it'll be like, hey, listen, like to be the best, you got to beat the best, and if you want to beat the best, you'll see those guys again in Las Vegas in February. But I think it's a close game, and I think it's going to be a classic on Christmas that people talk about for years.
Yeah. Darth Vader says stopping Debo is going to be tough. Absolutely. Yeah. That's going to be, guys like Kyle Hamilton, they'll be very, very busy on a day like that, to be honest with you. Because you're going to get Debo Samuel in space. He's going to catch the ball in space over the middle of the field probably a couple times during that game, and someone's going to have to be there to stop him. Now, moving on from that game, again, me and Alex both have the Ravens dropping that one against the 49ers on Christmas, but immediately following that, on New Year's Eve, the Ravens take on the Miami Dolphins. New Year's Eve, 1 p.m. game. I think we win this one. And I think we win this one. I don't want to say a blowout, but I think we win by at least 10 points. I think we win by 10 points. I think that this is a Mike Macdonald revenge game, especially after what happened last season, us basically having them dead to rights, right? I mean, that in that game against Miami last year, really whooping them like for the majority of that game. And then, as we all know, that defensive absolute meltdown, which I know that Mike Macdonald has still nightmares about until this day. He's going to want to get that one back. He's going to probably call the game of his life, to be honest with you. I think we get Tua on the ground a bunch of times in that game, and I think we go ahead and we win that one. It's at home, too. So, yeah.
I think we win this one as well, and I think the narrative is going to go into the playoffs with the Dolphins. They still haven't beat a team over 500. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And I think we do beat them. I trust Mike Macdonald to have a plan against Tyreek. Last year, I think about our secondary. Peters was first came back from tearing his ACL. We had Armour Davis and Pepe Williams and a Kyle Hamilton in his second career game. This is a whole different defense from last year. We have a Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
We have a Van Noy, we have a Clowney. We have a Matabike who's even better this year, who can get pressure on Tua, who won't have all day. We have a Geno Stone and Marcus Williams back there to cover space. Kyle Hamilton, who's even better this year than last year. Stevens, who stepped up. Marlon and Arthur fucking Millette, who's playing his ass off.
Yes.
Completely different defense. Yeah, and like Bruce said, Marlon was out the fourth quarter. So we literally had rookies as our defensive backs. No shit, we were getting cooked. I do think we win this. We win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think we win that one as well. And then moving on to the very last game of the season, you mentioned it earlier, Week 18, Steelers at Ravens. That's January 7th. Still don't know what time that game is going to be played yet. But Steelers at Ravens, final game of the year. Obviously, I think we'll be jousting for that number 1 spot in the AFC. Up to that point, I don't know what the Steelers will be playing for. Maybe a playoff spot. The Steelers have a very favorable schedule for the rest of the season. Let me go ahead and pull it. I know it's soft as baby shit. I know it is. Let me see.
No, it's definitely soft.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking Patriots, Colts, who, Colts aren't too bad. Bengals, Seahawks are not too bad. And then us. So, I mean, the Steelers have some pretty favorable matchups. I'd probably pick the Steelers in, 3 out of those 5 matchups? I pick them in 3 out of those 5 matchups. Patriots, I'd probably pick them to beat the Colts and Bengals. Seahawks and Ravens.
Even the Colts have surprised me, though. I think Shane Steichen should be getting Coach of the Year nods for being in the playoffs with Gardner Minshew, with all due respect.
DeMeco Ryans?
Got to be up there, too, I think. But, wow. If the Seahawks don't beat the Steelers, I will have some questions about Mr. Geno Smith. But he looked really good on Thursday.
DK Metcalf. Yeah. The Kalen Zacharias Metcalf looked really good on Thursday.
Bro, it's them uniforms. It is them uniforms, bro. They are I love those throwback uniforms. It's
Wait,
funny.
wait. Listen, for those of you guys who didn't start the episode with us, that little sign language thing that Alex just did, that actually means standing on business in sign language. Can you do it again for
Mhm.
us? I
That's what
love it.
DK
I
did.
love it.
That's what DK did. And apparently, I went on TikTok and some people said like it's not right. I don't care. It's what DeKalen did, and I think he's right. If not, I look like an idiot what I'm doing, but it's really fun to do. But one thing I'll say about the Cowboys though, Patrick Queen, he tweeted out, he said we only gave how many points to these guys against Seattle? How many points did we give up against them? Was it 3?
Yeah.
3 points.
Patrick Queen, he's been feeling himself on social media a little lately.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little hurt because he shot his shot with Dua Lipa, and I was like, bro, we can't be doing this because I have a soft spot for her as well. But hey,
Really?
if he gets it, he gets it. I hope it goes in.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I did see him shoot a shot with her. I think what Micah Parsons responded or something like that. Can't remember what he
And
said.
I think Micah wants to be in purple and black. I think he wants to come and team up with Odafe Owe again. That's what I heard personally.
Man,
Micah Parsons, hashtag coming to the Ravens. Do you like crab cakes, my boy? That's all I'm saying.
just saying, them Penn State days don't sound too bad, you know. Bring it back around. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, but basically, all in all, for the Ravens' last 5 games it is of the season, I think we have us going 4-1, 4-1 over that 5-game stretch, which I think is fair. At the worst, I think 3-2. You know, I think that's the floor. 3-2. Ceiling obviously is 5-0, but ideally, I think it's going to be 4-1 realistically. But we shall see. Okay, go ahead and get your questions down below in the comment section. We'll take a couple questions before we go ahead and wrap for the night on this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Jabari Cruz Ellis here says Parsons to be more. That's funny. Yeah, hopefully.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Question for you. So the bowls are coming out for college football. Obviously, we'll talk about the top 4 and all that, but shirt I'm wearing, the Terps. Terps are playing Auburn in a bowl. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to that. I think my thing is Michael Locksley has really not won a big game with the Terps yet. He won the Mayo Bowl, whatever. Like this could be like one of his bigger wins, I'd say, because Auburn they should have beat Bama. All right, I'm not gonna sit here. I know there's ifs, buts, maybes. I don't know how you give up that touchdown. I think Vegas made the call. You know, listen, you know, we got to get Bama in the Final Four for the college football. You know, they got to get there.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, I'm watching that. I'm watching the Terps game. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely watching the Terps game. As for other bowl games, we'll talk about that. How do you feel about the whole Florida State? Should they have made it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't sit up here and objectively say, you know, whether or not they should have made it or not, because, well, actually, you know what? I can, because they went undefeated. I do know that. And this is why, at the end of the day, I prefer professional sports or the NFL, you know, compared to college, because why is there a committee? Why is there a group of people that has to sit down and decide who deserves to go to the championship game or go to the playoffs or whatever? Like, no, I mean, the evidence is right there. We have the wins and losses. Like I know you're playing teams in different conferences and whatnot, so context may matter, but this is why I prefer the NFL. I mean, it's a more linear or a reward system, because what more are you supposed to do than going undefeated? You know, if I'm an FSU player, coach, whatever, what more are you supposed to do? I mean, and it's not their fault. Their quarterback got hurt.
No.
You know, that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but that's what happens when you add a committee to a league that gets to decide who contends for a championship and who doesn't. You know, you start adding context and all this other little stuff into it. It kind of ruins it. It ruins it. I just want to know who won, who lost. This team won. Okay, cool. That team won. Great. They need to play each other. Simple as that. Simple as that. What do you think?
That committee is not thinking about that. That committee is thinking about how can we make the most money? What is going to be the most competitive game?
Yep.
I know TCU beat Michigan last year, 51-45. How do you think that committee was feeling when they were watching that national championship game? Georgia against TCU. 65-7. They're like, oh yeah, this could never happen again. Because I know me personally, that game was off after the first quarter.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell TCU had nothing going. I think it was when Cincinnati played Bama, I think in 21, wasn't even a game. And Cincinnati was undefeated. They don't care about if you're undefeated. They just care about how they can make the most money. And that's why Bama made it.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then just expand the playoff to 8 teams at least, or make it all the way to 12. Like, just something so there's more clarity, and it feels less like we're forced to watch these 4 teams. And yes, they may be the best teams in college football, but there's some teams that very well should have been there, like Florida State, who get left out. I mean, again, for me, you had a perfect season. Like, they're going to look back, FSU is going to look back in history and say, oh, that was a perfect season right there. Did they go on to win the championship? No, they didn't even make the playoff.
Nope.
Well, why? How did they not make the playoff? They went under. Oh, the committee decided that since our quarterback got hurt, that we did not deserve to contend for a championship after going undefeated. Like, looking back on that in hindsight, if you're just looking at history, it's gonna be crazy to think about. Like, you're telling me this team did not lose a game all year, and they still did not get a chance to contend for a championship. Absolutely bonkers to me. Yeah.
Gotta let Saban in. Gotta let Bama in. Nappy Texas made it, though. I thought they weren't going to make it, but they did. Then they released the Heisman 4 candidates. It's Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, who shouldn't even be in that. He's literally, bro, go and start a family. And Marvin Harrison Jr. Those are the 4 for the Heisman. I think Jaden Daniels will win it, personally. Definitely not biased because I'm an LSU fan. Wouldn't hate Marvin Harrison either, but I don't get Bo Nix out of there. Get him out of here. That's the fraud in those 4. Bro played against Herbert in college.
Yeah, I mean, but what about Penix though? Is Penix not deserving?
Him too. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, get Bo Nix out of that. Get him out of there.
Yeah. I agree with that. How old is Bo Nix? He's got to be like my age.
Bo Nix he's 23. He's 23.
Oh wow. Oh no, he's still young. He's still young. I mean, he's old for college, like a little bit, for sure.
He's not Stetson Bennett. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But okay, let's see. Brent says here at work, finally on break, and I got the Rain Gang live. No better way to enjoy this break. Thank you, Brent. We appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. We'll take a couple of more questions, comments, concerns down here. Oh, listen, if you're part of the hashtag replay gang, you're not watching live, thank you so much for joining, first and foremost. Make sure you leave your comment, your question, your concern, whatever it may be, down below in the comment section. We do like to get to those as well. But yeah, let's see. I think Roosh says something here for me. FSU did not have many ranked wins, though, so that's why they didn't make the playoff. Okay. I mean, but it's FSU, though. I assume they have to be playing some sort of competition. You know what I mean?
ACC is, Louisville is like, they won 16-6. Their wins this year.
I heard they did struggle with a couple teams, too.
LSU was a good win. Beat them 45-24. Southern Miss 66-13. Boston College won by 2 points. Clemson by a touchdown in OT. Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Duke, Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, Miami, North Alabama, Florida, Louisville. I mean, LSU and Clemson are good wins. Louisville, yeah. And they play Georgia in the Orange Bowl, so
that should be interesting. I got Georgia in that one for sure. Let's see, Chike, what's going on, Chike, with the super chat donation, dropping the 2-piece in the chat. We'll go ahead and wrap the show with this question here. We appreciate your super chat donation. It says, who gets the number 1 seed in the AFC and the NFC? Number 1 seed in the what's the Eagles' remaining schedule? I think that's important.
I will pull that up for you. They get the Cowboys next. Seahawks, Giants, Cardinals, Giants.
And what's the 49ers?
Seahawks, Cardinals, Ravens, Manders, Rams.
Mm.
Those are really good for both teams because
I know.
the
Yeah.
Rams always play them hard, no matter what.
Yeah. Interesting. Uh, number one seed in the NFC. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I don't think they drop
So
another
am I.
game, to be honest with you.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I'll go with the Eagles as number one seed in the NFC, and then in the AFC, uh,
Not gonna like my AFC.
it's it's either us or man, it still depends on what happens with some of these games because we're going head to head with the Jaguars. We're going head to head with the Dolphins. Um, what do you think? I'll start off. What do you think?
Chiefs. They're gonna pull it out. It's gonna be the conference losses which screw us. And like I said, I'm not gonna be mad. I don't want the one seed. Chiefs are gonna get it. It's gonna go to Arrowhead again. Just get ready for it.
Uh,
Get ready for it.
mm,
The conference losses are
I
gonna
don't
the
know.
Colts, Steelers, and Browns. Those three.
What about the
Pretty
Dolphins?
sure. They're 9-3 as well.
Yeah.
What are oh no, because shoot, they lost to the Broncos too. Let me get the Chiefs losses real quick. Packers lost, Eagles. Yep. 2 out of their 4 losses are out of the conference. They
Yep.
lost to the Broncos, and then they lost to the Lions. 3 out of their 4 losses are out of the conference.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for us. Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
I wanted to. If this team is going to win the Super Bowl, I want them to go in Arrowhead, and I want them to win. I would love the Chiefs to be the one seed.
I would love that too, but I'd still prefer the bye week. I would. I know it. I
True.
know it came back to bite us in 2019. The home field advantage didn't matter either, but I will take the bye week. But I do see what you're saying there. I'll take the Chiefs. So Chiefs and Eagles will probably finish as the number one seeds of their respective conferences. Not to say that the Ravens can't knock off the Chiefs in the playoffs. That would be really nice to see. But yeah, that's going to be our final answer there.
Here's your schedule. Chiefs, Bills, Patriots, Raiders, Bengals, Chargers.
Bills, Patriots, Raiders, Bengals. Chargers.
Like the great Brian Billick said, when you walk into the Lions den, you don't tiptoe. You go and scream like a wild banshee. That's what I want the Ravens to do in Arrowhead. I would love for that. I don't care how loud it gets. I don't care if they say home of the Chiefs. I want us to go in there, go scream like a wild banshee, and you beat the fucking king. Because that is who it is. AFC Championship is always an Arrowhead, and you got to win there if you're the best team in AFC.
Yeah. Beat the king, take the crown.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and leave it there. That question, that comment, and this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 212 of the Purple Rain Podcast. Again, thank you guys so much for coming through. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, we'd appreciate that. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Sutton Def, just like you see down below. Follow this guy over here on Twitter at simplyas10, Instagram simplyas10.prod, and pretty much just anywhere at simplyas10, right? And then on Instagram, you can find us at the Purple Rain Podcast. Real simple, real plain. And then, of course, it's the holiday season. You guys see that ticker on the bottom. You go on manscaped.com. Use our code PRP to save yourself 20% off, plus free international shipping. But you might want to get a move on, though, because we're only 3 weeks away from Christmas. You guys know how shipping can be, how it can be crazy around the holidays. So make sure you get your orders in now. Use the code PRP on manscaped.com. Save yourself 20%. Yeah, and again, yeah, sure.
Did you watch the UFC this past weekend? Watch a couple of the fights.
I watched a couple of the fights. Yeah, I did.
Solid.
Yeah.
I missed the main card, but from what I saw, the prelims are pretty good.
See, I missed the prelims. I saw most of the main card.
K-Dog just asked it. Did you see Bobby Green get knocked the F out?
Oh, yeah. It was bad. That ref should be seriously looked at, because I mean, he got knocked out, I think 3 different times within 12 seconds.
Wow.
And the ref did not stop it until it looked like his soul was about to leave his body. Like, he's just unconscious. Like, bro, you just allow Jalen Turner to just keep hitting him. Why? Like, what? He's not going to come back from this, bro. Like, he got dropped, right? That was his first KO. Got dropped. Then he gets ground and pound for a little bit, for like 2-3 seconds. He goes out again, comes back to, and gets ground and pound some more, and goes out a third time. And then the ref finally stops it. It's like, bro, what more did you want to see? I don't understand. I don't understand. But also I saw Armin Sarukian. He won the main event against Benil Dariush, finished him in under a minute. That's really good for him. I mean, that lightweight division is on notice for Armin, so big shout out to him. But another big UFC card coming up: Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. I'm excited for that
We
one.
will
I
be
think
there.
that one is next weekend. Yeah,
We will be there. No doubt about it. We will be there.
for sure. Okay, thank you for that question, K Dog. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, Mod K Dog, always coming out, always supporting. We appreciate him. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you all for coming through episode 212. Sorry, still new to me. 212 of the Purple Rain podcast. Look forward to talking ball on Thursday for a preview of the Rams. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
Yeah, and never ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 212 of the